Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the All About You show with OMG and Friends, where we talk about the things that you think about and some things you don't. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host,
Silky Smooth.
And Daydream.
As always, family, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we ask that you please join in on the conversation, where your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions help drive the conversation. Today, we're going to talk about women hating on women, pretty much female misogyny, if you will.
Right.
Okay.
But let me give you a story that came to mind when I was, kind of processing with this show. What came to mind immediately from a biblical standpoint was the Old Testament, the story with Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar. Now, you do remember, for those of you who know your scriptures, basically God had promised Abraham and Sarah a child, and they were both in their 90s, and I think he may have been 100. So Sarah laughed at this whole thing. So what Sarah did is, like most of us do in our own strength, we try to take care of it ourselves. So rather than her waiting on the Lord for him to give her a son, she decided to put together this little coup and have Abraham sleep with his Egyptian concubine, Hagar. And like clockwork, she conceived. And after she conceived, I guess what came along with that, because Sarah was barren, what came along with that was an attitude as the belly grew. Hagar got a little bit full, walking in front of Sarai, and this became a problem. So Sarah got rid of her. Okay, banished her, right? And after she had Ishmael, she banished them to the desert. So basically, to me, that's kind of like the first, I guess, connotation that I can put together from a biblical standpoint, being women hating on women.
Right.
Because that's what she did.
And the thing is, Sarah set it up in the first place, not
She-
thinking the
that's what
entire
I
thing
just said.
through, thinking the problems
Right.
you're going to cause
Right.
by
It's
just
just-
instead of leaving it alone.
It's just like when you have open relationships. Oh, it's fun to play, but then you don't. Someone catches feelings or something happens.
and
Oh,
then
wait
it
a minute.
becomes,
It's
it becomes
like
real.
you opened it
You
up.
opened it,
You
here we
encouraged
are.
it.
And
Especially when you've got to watch your baby girl.
You gotta
She's-
watch this
yeah.
woman walk around proud in her
Because
being
in that
with
during
child.
that time,
Right.
it meant a big deal
Well,
to be with a
Sarah
child.
Sarah was a top woman, so therefore she was given Hagar, if I'm not mistaken, by Pharaoh or something to that degree. So because she was a handmaiden that was very proficient at taking care of the house and that sort of
Right.
thing, and she decided to create this situation where told Abraham go ahead, and he did.
Assuming that God
Right.
needed her help.
That
God
that's what I
doesn't
said,
need your
we do
help.
that in our own way. We think
Right.
that we can
We're
handle
thinking
our
like
own
human beings.
situation.
We're thinking God needs our help. God doesn't need
He
our help.
he doesn't need our help. And then after that, after she had Ishmael, shortly thereafter, Sarah got pregnant with Isaac. So,
The
again,
natural way,
the
like God
natural
had
way,
planned.
the way God had planned. But again, we can't wait sometimes. So that's my story that came to my mind when I wanted to talk about women hating women. But again, I call it female misogyny because as you have men who hate women, which is misogyny,
Yeah.
you have women who hate women.
Right.
Female misogyny. Now, I would think, give me you guys' opinion on why is it that women hate on each other?
That's how we're conditioned.
Elaborate.
We're conditioned to always be in competition
That's
with
true.
each other. We always have to be the better wife. We have to be the better mother. We have to be the better girlfriend. We have to be the better cook.
And that's not a bad thing.
There's nothing wrong with wanting better and trying to be your best, but it's wrong when we're having to knock each other down in order to get to the top. We shouldn't have to climb on top of each other.
In other words, you can still be your best and not crush me.
But
I can be my best, and I shouldn't have to crush you.
that's absolutely
I'll crush
true.
you under my heels.
Right. I don't think not all women hate on other women. I really edify, encourage, motivate, and give accolades to other women.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the more we affirm the strength and the girl power and all that we have, we edify and we empower each other. So I'm not that one to, she's doing it. And I have never been in a situation, and I've been on some high level, political and governmental sort of situations, but I've never felt insecure or intimidated by any woman.
I have.
I haven't.
And
But what were you intimidated by? Her looks, her intellect? What were you intimidated by?
Looks, physical appearance, because that's what's always thrown in our face.
Yeah, but
we
all
have to
our
be
own uniqueness.
Right, but we're conditioned that way. So
not everybody's comfortable knowing that.
right, and so even while I was doing it, I questioned myself, why
am I feeling this
why
way?
am I have no reason
don't.
to. I don't know this
That's
person.
my
I don't,
point.
you know, why can't I be genuinely happy? Or, you know, hey, you know, I'm a confident person.
Well, that's
I have no
right.
problem
That's
with
my
if I see
point.
a stranger, a random woman, hey,
Give
you
me a
know, not,
compliment. You look, you're doing this.
nice
you're wearing this.
backside.
Yeah,
You know,
right,
hey, you're
whatever.
working it. This, that. I really love it. I don't have a problem with doing that. So it bothered me even more. It's like, why would I feel that way? And so the only thing I could think of was because subconsciously, that's what's always drilled into our head.
It absolutely is. What do you
I think in my situation, maybe kind of similar. Not that they hated a person, but it wasn't just looks, it was accomplishments. I was thinking, man, I wish I were like that. If I were like that, maybe my life would be better. So it would make me feel sad. So I didn't hate the person, but I found that because of that person's accomplishments, it seemed like their life was great and seems like everything was going great for them. Like maybe
the
if
grass
you
is
just
no greener, but
right, but I was thinking, you know, maybe if you were more like her, maybe your life would be better. But again, it's a fleeting moment, and as you grow and develop, you grow out of that. No, I don't feel that way now. I will compliment a stranger in the street, but there were points in my life when I was younger. Yeah, I did kind of. It would make me
for
sad.
me, I've always, to me, I believe that all women bring something for you to learn from. All of us bring information.
But we have to grow to
That's
that.
true. No, not necessarily.
Sometimes.
I've been pretty mature since I was in my early 20s, which is how I married a man 25 years older than me, is because
Right.
women are more mature. I
You
was
were born
already
an
there.
adult.
Yeah, I was born. I mean, I work at being a good person. So, you know, I realize what I bring, and I realize if I have anybody that's in my life, there's a void that only I can fill. Nobody
Right.
can come behind me. You can bring another girl in. You can bring this. There's only a space that's left for OMG to fill.
Right.
Silky can't fill it. Daydream can't fill it. There are
Right.
places in people's lives that Daydream can fill that I can come into the same arena. I may not fill that void. So we all bring our own uniqueness and stuff with us. And I guess as an only child, you have to learn how to be enough.
And you know what?
I am enough.
And you know what?
type
It
stuff.
may be an only child thing because my ex was an only child. One of my best friends was an only child, and one of my cousins, and they tend to be like that. They felt like they were enough, but that's a good way to be.
It's a good
and
way
that's
to
what
be.
it will be. I just never, you know, I had to grow into that, or maybe have a person explain. By the way, you are enough. Just like you said, everybody can't fill Silky's void. Well, 20, 30 years ago, I didn't think like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, see, I've always been, I guess, an older spirit, if you will.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
And some people are like that.
So I just believe that
You look at life beyond the
I
surface.
look a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you look beyond the surface or beyond
you
what's
know.
in front of you. Like Sarah in the Bible was not looking at
She was
God and looking
short-sighted.
beyond the surface. She was short-sighted.
Right.
She was thinking of man and what our limitations, thinking, well, God can't do this. Well, yes,
I'm
God
90-some
can.
years old. I
I'm
can't
90
have a
something in my
baby,
years. I can't have a baby, but she did. Went through full pregnancy,
Sure
right?
did, sure
Right.
Went
did.
through full pregnancy.
She thought she didn't think enough of herself because, well, obviously
Well,
he's not
having
talking
enough
about
faith.
me.
This is
Right.
about faith. You
We
have
didn't
to
have,
have faith.
it wasn't
Her
about
faith.
me.
That's what
He's
it is.
talking about somebody else. So I need to just accept that it's going to be with somebody else.
Yes, and so I'll set
Right.
that somebody else up.
Right.
And then, you know, like you said, when we do this orchestration,
And God didn't tell her to set anything up.
Nope.
Nothing.
He said
Ishmael would have
you.
never been born, probably. Would have never been born had she not interfered.
absolutely.
And
But
those
they both became sons of
Became
nations.
nations,
Yeah,
because you
Ishmael, the Arabs, and then you had the
exactly
Israelis, yes.
became nations, right?
Right, so it kind of worked out, but always life doesn't work out like that when you go against
And
the pattern of what God has.
geographically, aren't they still fighting?
Yes,
Yes.
that's Muslims and
Yeah,
Jews.
right.
They're Muslim and
That's
they're
exactly
still
what it is.
enemies.
right?
Jews and
That's-
Arabs.
That's
Same
what I'm
thing.
saying. Had that not happened,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that those people would have been there, but maybe it would come about differently.
But obviously it was supposed to happen because each time that Hagar was banished to the desert, which I think was twice, God went and got her.
Yeah.
Told her to go back.
Right.
So there was
She
some
played
part,
it
yeah,
out.
there was something in there that had to be played out,
That
all the way
nation
up,
had to
and
come
history
about
has
through. Had to come about.
has to manifest itself, you know.
Right.
But again, you know, misogyny. I think women. Then you know, there's a mystery as to why women hate other women, and it has been in question for centuries. And that's
Right.
why I gave up the story I felt was my first inclination of that with Sarah and Hagar. But women have always been fighting the same battle, and yet we continue to pull each other back while striving to reach the same goals. Why is this?
it's that evil.
That
Again,
is
it goes
the
back to
question.
the evil.
No, do I
But
need
there's
that question?
spiritual- yeah.
Okay. Women have always been fighting the same battle, and yet we continue to pull each other back while striving to reach the same goals.
It's
These
I
are
still
some of the
say
points
it's the
that I-
jealousy thing, and that's the
That
green
is
monster,
another
and it is
factor.
spiritual, and it still comes into play, and it's something we have to struggle to fight against. I
Right,
feel.
because think about it. Sarah's issue being barren was this huge thing.
Oh, back
then.
then. Oh my gosh.
It
yeah.
still is now.
Really?
It still is now because
Well,
I
you have,
still
you
get
have
looked.
remedies for that. You have
Well, but
IVF
still,
and, okay.
I still get looked at crazy, and I still get the stupid question. You don't have how many kids do you have? Well, none. Well, why not? What's wrong?
This is a whole different. Yeah.
And look how many years later it is. But it's still something's wrong with me.
Right.
You know, it's never.
What if
They
it's
never
a
once
choice?
thought.
Enough.
Exactly.
What if it's a life
It is
choice?
a choice.
That's why you have to take the attitude. I am enough.
Right.
However I
It
choose
is
to
a
bring
choice.
that,
You know,
this is
and,
enough.
and I wouldn't be embarrassed if it was because there was just physically something wrong with me and I couldn't. I feel like I wouldn't be embarrassed about that, but I'm still looked at, I'm still shunned because, oh my God, you
Well,
don't
who
have
they
any kids.
judge?
Look
Who
at
they
look at your
judge?
age. Well, yeah, look at my age.
Yeah.
You know,
So
but
isn't that wonderful? I have a
The young
comment on
people
that
don't want to get married. They don't want to get married or have children. A lot of them, you know, in their 30s,
right.
you know,
They're enough.
they're enough. You know,
Right.
people are realizing
So
who
who-
they are now and what they bring, but not all of it is good stuff.
I got a comment on her because what you just said, because that kind of
Right.
spills in my world also.
But we have to go to break right now, so we'll be right back. Give us a call to the studio, 713-789-0096.
You're listening to the Bridge of Light Radio Network, where conversations lead to real change.
We'll leave that conversation on that. Let's see, we need to do a show after the show. I want to do a show on image. I want to include some stuff from it, but basically image. I know, that's why I just thought about it the other day. We should probably put that on there. But more importantly, all the stuff that makes up an image, because we need to, we need better role models.
Oh my
Guys,
God.
you know,
And
that's-
you could really hit on this. Look at this book.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I still
Stand
can't
it
believe
up.
that's why I can't believe after finally getting it done. You know how you think about doing something, you work on it, and then all of a sudden you actually watch it. You have to spread it
Get it
out
out.
further.
I know, but I'm trying to get the right.
Oh, I did have the right angle.
I don't have a stand.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, book stand.
Okay, that's how that's working.
All right, 30 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we do need a book stand. We can.
Seconds.
And we are back. You're listening to the All About You show with OMG and Friends, where we talk about the things that you think about and some things you don't. I'm in the studio, as always, with my co-host.
Silky smooth.
And daydream.
Now, guys, we were talking about women hating on women before we went to break, and so we were just trying to figure out what were the reasons women are so hating of each other, because there's a piece of information that says women are often harder on each other than men are on each other, and I don't know why that is.
Right. And before we went to break, I commented about, you know, still being looked down upon or, you know, looked at with embarrassment, judged because I don't have any kids. I'm single. I've never been married. You know, I didn't realize. Yeah, I didn't realize that, you know, not having multiple baby daddies was an embarrassment.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
well, the criteria
Okay.
changed. Yeah.
Well, to piggyback back on that, when I was growing up, my parents had a late child, meaning the oldest child was ready to go off to college, and we were all in high school, and my mom and dad popped up pregnant. And so they made us help raise our little brother. Well, I saw the responsibility And I was like, man, I don't think I want this. He's sick. He's always in the hospital. He's on medication. All kinds of things.
Always
going
needs
wrong.
attention.
And then you have to change your life to watch him. And they didn't get a babysitter. They made us do it, so I resented it. So by the time I was 17, I said, I wouldn't mind getting married someday, but I don't want a family. I don't want to go through pregnancy. I don't want to go through childbirth because I saw the whole process. I'm like, I don't want that. And I wasn't going to make anybody make me feel bad about it. And sure enough, people, when they approach you, you're meeting a person for the first time, you're having a conversation, and all of a sudden, well, how many kids do you have? You know, my response is, I said, you're asking me how many children I have? You're assuming that I have them. How about asking me if I have them? And first of all, why is that criteria? Why are we even discussing that? And then when I say it's a life choice, I said, to have a family or not to have a family is a life choice. And I have a right to make it.
Choice.
It's a personal choice. And when I say it that way, that usually shuts it way down.
Yeah.
Right. And see, and I was always
Way down.
I was always told that I was selfish.
Oh, that's another
because I
one.
didn't want
They
kids.
do throw that out.
Well,
there.
that's selfish. You should want to do this. And I said, well, and it
Based
did
on
make me
what?
feel bad.
Yeah.
I did.
That was their
I did.
intention.
Grow up thinking, well, I'm just a selfish person, and maybe that's why I thought so negatively about myself and always wanted what somebody else had or needed to be better because I was trying to make up for that. But I forget who it was. But they told me, they're like, well, that's actually one of the most unselfish things.
Especially
Because I know that that's not what I want.
That you don't want that.
And number two, I don't want it just because, well, then it's no longer about me. Well, no, I've never really wanted kids because
it's a big responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility.
And you don't want the responsibility.
Well, I don't want to be a bad
I don't want to raise
parent.
anybody.
I don't want to.
I don't.
Well, I don't want to raise anybody poorly, and I don't want to give them less than what they deserve. So, I see my mom as up here, and to me, that's what I would have to be at minimum.
Right.
And so, if I can't have that, if I can't be that type of parent, then I don't deserve to be a parent. That's how I felt about it. So
it's
it's
a
not
choice.
Absolutely. So
You have a right
I'm
to
not
feel that
selfish
way.
at all
That
because
is not selfish.
I'm not going to give a being that didn't have any choice in being here less than what they deserve.
Not only that, you mean to tell me that every person that has a child is not selfish? I beg your pardon. I know a whole lot of people that have children are selfish. So bringing forth children does not determine selfishness or unselfishness.
Absolutely not.
Having a child doesn't make you any more selfless than the person that doesn't.
Well,
So that's just an argument. They use that, in my opinion, to make you feel bad. They're stuck with a bunch of kids. They wish they had your life. And now
looking
they
back,
want to
it's
say,
like, it was out of jealousy that they said that.
Yes,
because
it was.
I can get up and leave when I
Anytime you want.
When I wake up in the morning and, I have a 3-day weekend, well, you know what? I feel like taking a drive out to Austin, or I want to go do this. Let me just pack my bag and go. I don't have to set this up. I don't have to look for a sitter. I don't
Track
have to
down
pack
the baby
5
daddy.
other people's bags. I don't have to ask anybody's permission. I do what I want.
or you don't have to explain your life to other people.
Absolutely.
My friend had a baby. Every time she would ask her mother to babysit, the mother would want to know, well, what are you doing?
Well,
I'm
why?
like, now you
Where
can
you
explain
going?
what you and
When
her
you coming
are
back?
wrong.
When you have to have someone help you.
Well, but they
you need to
shouldn't
do it.
ask you, but when it's your mother, sometimes they will do that to you.
Absolutely.
And then they'll say this, but Adrian, you don't need to go there.
Yeah.
What?
Do you think a lot of they have different
You have a
levels?
child, you don't need to go.
You have different levels of competition, and you have a lot of competition that happens at work. So I think that creates a whole nother women hating on women environment
So
because
it's like
Right.
professional competition.
somebody's going to do the Bill Cosby thing. They're going to say that he drugged me, and the Me Too fell asleep,
Right.
and he drugged me and had sex with me, and you get hired up the aisle, up the ladder.
Oh,
So,
always.
Yes, I think competition at work is very heavy and stiff, so that therefore they
And-
hate on each other in their workplace.
Right,
Because this
and-
is about money, ultimately.
Right.
And have you noticed
And
that
status.
females,
And
when we see someone else raising to the top, well, I wonder what they did for that.
That's the first thing comes
Really?
out of their mouth. Yeah.
It's like, why do we automatically go to that?
Well, because there's always been a casting sofa. Pimping
This
is
is
the
true.
Pimping is the oldest game. We're gonna do a show next week on strip, which started out being strip tease. So
Right.
it's all across.
Burlesque.
Yeah. So it's
Right.
all there. So it's just there to be left. Right.
Well, I'm interested to see. Thank you, everyone who's been tuning in. We really appreciate y'all.
What's your opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. Give us a call here at the studio, 713-789-0096. Hit us up on our Facebook feed. Everyone who's following along and watching, share your thoughts, your comments, your experiences, because we wanted to talk about this because of an experience that I had recently. And I just couldn't believe it. I just like, why do we do this to each other? Why do we hate on each other so bad?
Yeah, admit
You know?
it. If you hate on, if you've been a person to hate on someone, yeah, share that with us. Let us know what was behind that. You know.
What's your
We have
thought,
an engineer giving us
RJ?
code. We're
Alright,
all blank. Like,
I just wanted to put my personal opinion. My personal opinion is the reason why women hate on other women is because of men.
That was my next-
Over the ages, you know, men have always told women what they can and cannot do.
that's
and,
true. That was
We
my
had-
next, that was my next thing
and
on
the
here.
fact that there are women out there who be like, you know what, he's right. You know, they've learned to listen to the man and tell their daughters, and their daughters teach those same lessons to their daughters, and so on and so forth. And so it's instilled to generations of women, and certain women. And then there's other women who break that cycle. You know, say like, why am I doing this? You know, because this man told me what I can and cannot do.
Right,
Please,
exactly.
you know.
Do you think
Right.
it's culture that has anything to do with that? That the man coming in there saying, since I'm the leader,
And you know what? You're
I'm
the
telling you.
second male to make that comment. You know, it's because men manipulate the situations.
Oh yeah, y'all are hard. Y'all are dogs, real
Yeah.
bow wows.
But do you think
Absolutely.
culture has anything to do with it? I'm asking the
Absolutely.
question.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, in the Latino culture, machismo
Black
is still
culture is great.
strong.
There's not a lot of men. Most of our men are incarcerated. You know, in 1980, they had, no, seriously, in 1980.
And our men are right behind them.
In 1980, there were like 250,000 black men incarcerated. By 2010 or 11, you got 2.5 million men in prison. So therefore, you don't have a lot of men. So women are going to vie for the attention of and have children with and
The few
get into
there.
monogamous situations where, polygamous
Polygamous.
situations and polyamory and all this other stuff. So
And
I
to
think
answer your
that's
question, I don't think it's cultural. I think it's just, you know, a man's pride. They feel like a woman should, you know, be able to do more than them or something like that. So I don't
that's
think it's just.
overrated.
I think it's just in general, not just a specific culture.
Because a man feels
Because
that
of
he
man's
has to
pride. Because
control
we
the
all know
situation.
men have pride in, you know, when they pride get hurt.
And they like
gotta
controlling
let
things.
somebody else down.
And so they like controlling women. So
Exactly.
they'll use that.
Exactly.
Okay.
But
Well,
you know,
that's
as
an
women, we
interesting
also
perspective.
need to remember, a man's gonna be a man, but we have to let a man be the man.
Right.
You know, we need to remember that fine line because there's so, you know, other women will dog each other. Why you let him run you like that? I can't believe you just let him it's not disrespect. You know,
Women
because
are
there's
funny, aren't they?
yeah, I
They're
mean,
really
you know,
funny.
you're either too far left or you're too far right.
right.
You know, we can never balance each other out, but there is that fine line. There's just moments in your relationship, times in life where you need to let a man be the man, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You know, it doesn't mean you're bowing down to him. If anything, I
Even if
feel
you
like
do,
that
that's
shows
okay too.
a lot of respect,
Right, yeah.
and that's done out of respect. When you let a man be the man,
If you know your biblical role, you
Right,
wouldn't have
absolutely.
to. You wouldn't have to let a man be a man because that's his role.
That's his role.
And
And
once
like
you
you
know
have your role.
yours,
Yeah.
Once you know yours, then subservience and you know submission, all of that.
And
kind
he's
of falls
subservient.
into-
And
He's
that's a future
submissive
show
too.
also.
It goes
It's
both ways.
reciprocity. You have to,
It's
you know,
reciprocity.
but the Bible clearly speaks that
If we honor each other's roles, I think that's probably the
Honor.
better way.
I still
if we
have-
honor each other,
other's.
we-
where
I have-
is that?
Well, you see on the back of this book, I
Scripture.
have I spoke about a gentleman's agreement, which is when you tell people something and your word is good.
See the handshake here?
It's
That's
about
supposed to
honor.
mean something.
Honor is gone.
Right. A gentleman's
Honor is gone.
agreement, an agreement that, although unenforceable at law, is binding as a matter of personal honor.
Honor.
You gotta get back to honor.
Honor. That's what I mean by honoring each other's role.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
He
and
can be submissive. I can be submissive. That's
Absolutely.
okay. That's all good.
it's like me going. You know, like we alpha females. have
You
to
be the
sometimes-
man. Let me be the woman.
Hey, just let me do my thing, you know. But I believe
Right.
that again, you know, as an alpha female, I know when to become a beta, which I don't do often. You know,
Right,
y'all
but you know when and
Greek
where.
alphabet, alpha, beta.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but a lot of alpha women can't deal with other alpha women, so they hate on them.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah.
it's, you know, again, to me, I've always, when I have a circle of friends, they're all A plus over the top. I mean, gorgeous, the whole 9 yards. But see, a lot of people, a lot of gorgeous women will go get a bunch of ding dongs to hang with them so that it elevates them.
That's
and
insecurity.
makes, to me, that's insecure.
Absolutely.
Unless
When you
all
always
of your
there's
friends
always
are stars.
there's always that one fugly girl in the group.
Right.
That's insecurity
That's
right
it.
there. If you always feel that
Especially
you
if
have to
you're
have
have
choosing
one
her.
so that you feel
If that
good.
person is genuinely your friend, you can't control their looks. But if you're selecting someone like that based on that criteria, you, in my opinion, are pathetic. You're
Well, you know,
weak
women are
and you're
absolutely-
insecure.
Women
And
are
we see it
shallow.
all the time.
Women are shallow. Come on, man. Y'all know
Yeah.
who we are.
Yeah,
We see it all the time. When you go out, when you're at the bar, I saw this not too long ago. You know, and I've seen these girls before, but there was two of them. One was a really heavy set girl, but she was cute in the face.
Mhm.
The other one,
They usually are.
you know, she was slimmer. I'm not gonna say that she looked better, but she was slimmer. But in her mind, she was it. And the entire time they were there, the heavier set girl was her personal photographer. She was sitting, the other one was sitting there posing, do this, no, let me look at it, take it again, hold it from this angle, do this, do that, the entire time. And then when she said, okay, that's enough, let's go here, there the ugly girl went right
Because
there behind
that's
her.
why she had women that were less than she.
Absolutely.
Because that built her up. To me, that's insecure.
Right.
When you are confident with who you are, your friends are gorgeous.
right.
Your
You know
friends are
what?
intelligent. Your friends are a representation of who you are should you leave the room.
But
They-
speaking of my first experience with women hating on women was in high school. In elementary school, we were all friends, and it was great.
Middle
I
school
went,
was
I went
brutal.
I went to a private school, and everybody was close. But I went to public school. High school was a different environment. That's when I first
Oh, that's
experienced
the
that.
real world. Yeah,
Well,
we
yeah.
go
Well,
to
then
school.
people, for instance, I had a few best friends, a couple best friends, and they said, "Well, you know, such and such, she doesn't like you." And I said, "Who's that?" I didn't even know the person. And every time every other day, I would get a message that these girls wanted to fight me. I didn't know them. I didn't know there were, but these young women had hatred, and I'm like, what did I do to
See,
them?
I had that
know.
in middle school.
And I'm naive. I come up in a two-parent middle class. I wasn't from the projects. These were some ghetto project girls. They were gunning for me. I almost got jumped 5 times, and I don't know why.
Well, you know, I remember, I think I experienced it. I was real quiet actually when I was in high school. And when I went off to college, I kind of realized who I am. So I kind of
Right.
started blossoming.
Mhm.
And then I became a little bit more different in the whole thing. But what really
And
hit
then
for
the true
me,
haters came out.
okay, what happened with me is when I pledged the sorority, and I'm sorry that I cannot get to New Orleans for the Delta Convention, which is this weekend. But when I pledged the sorority, it started out 42 of us. Actually, 38 of us went over. We were called New Birth 38. And I'll never forget, you know, at the time they had all of us in a big room because you could never be alone when you're pledging. You have to have
Right.
somebody.
You're at one.
And they'll ask you, well, Silky, who in here do you have an issue with? Because she's going to be your sister at some point. So let's get it out of the way now. So we just have a little powwow. You know what? I like everybody. I'm comfortable with who I am, so I don't find any insecurities or any need to have to dislike someone. But it was at this particular sorority setting when all 40-something of us were sitting on the floor, and it went around the room, and it was just said out of nowhere. And I never forgot this word, and I never used this word. One girl stood up and said, "I despise Marian Anderson."
Wow.
And of course, you looked around to see if
That's
there was
strong.
somebody else named Marian Anderson.
No, that was my name.
And you
It
said,
was-
no, it's me.
It's,
I'm
well,
kidding.
you know, so it shocked me because you don't really know me.
Yeah, and you're
You've
like, what
never-
did I ever do to you to feel that strong?
Because I was flying college, that's why. But
Again,
bottom
5
line
girls
is-
wanted to jump me.
but
I
what
wasn't
they-
flying
but
high
what
school.
they did was they made her shadow me. So in other words, you know, when you have to always be with somebody, they made us be together.
Right.
And then we
And of course,
actually-
you were okay with it, but she.
Well, see, it's still just shocking. Like I said, the word despise, I don't think I'd ever really
Right.
heard
That's
that
a strong word.
That was a
That's
strong
very
word for somebody coming out of in college, first year, to hear that somebody despise you. I mean,
And you don't even. And you didn't really know the
no,
person.
I never. I mean, I had seen her on campus, but like I said, she was fly, so was I.
Again, 5 girls.
Right.
I may have seen them in high school. I may not. Attempted to jump me several different times.
Wow.
For what I don't know, there was no man involved because I wasn't seeing anybody. I was in high
People
school.
sometimes
In
just
your
don't
mind, there was no dude involved.
right.
But
As far as
evidently,
I
who
know,
they had
they don't
feelings
know.
for, cop feelings, they had a thing
Now,
for you, and that was the
That could have
problem.
been it because I remember when my daughter was younger,
Right.
she was good in math. She was an engineer, so she was tutoring this really handsome guy. He had a girlfriend. She was Hispanic.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, did my daughter catch hell because she was tutoring this guy. The girlfriend just assumed that my daughter was wanting this guy. She would slash tires. Jill had a little Explorer. The tires were slashed. Jill didn't even like the guy. But women, if
Yeah,
you
was
get- if-
oblivious to him. Just
if
like, yeah, I
you-
just tutored him. Who,
But what
who
are you
is
talking
he?
about? But you know how we are. When we are into something and our attention is there,
Wow.
any kind of attention that you have to deflect from them to go over here, even to study and get your grades up, she wasn't
Right.
even interested in this guy. But
Wow.
I mean, we caught hell. Flat tires, scratched
Right.
up the car with a
Did
key.
you have to file a complaint?
Yeah,
or
we did.
anything?
Yeah.
File a complaint.
These, and we're talking 15, 16-year-olds.
Roll up your sleeves and box it out.
See, my daughter she had a driver's license early because, hardship, because her dad was an older man. So she had a license at 15. So,
Right.
I mean, they would
You know
key
what?
in cars.
My
I'm like,
mom.
what the hell is this?
Yeah, my
Yeah.
mom, when she was in high school, it happened to her. She was in the girls' locker room, and she got jumped. She happened to be wearing white pants that day. So she got jumped, and it was because of a guy. One of the girls, they were sisters, and then their friends or something to that effect. One of their dudes had a thing for my mom, and they knew that. But my mom was, in her own world,
world, right.
wasn't paying attention to any of that. Now, this is... my mom grew up in a hard neighborhood and still hard to this day, okay? There were 6 of them. They were poor, I mean dirt poor. So you had these girls who were jealous of her. They jumped her in the locker
Yeah, not too
room.
much.
Yeah, they jumped her in the locker room one day. And so she was always taught to defend herself, but that's what it had to do out of nowhere. She didn't know them, didn't care for this dude. She was like, he's ugly as sin. Like, I don't care for anything about that. Walked out of that locker room with footprints and everything all over her white pants and got
What?
back at them one by one.
You see what you got. You got to do.
And came back at
You
her.
gotta fight. You gotta fight one. You cannot get out of high school without a fight. You
Yeah.
gotta
I
fight
did.
one. I fought one.
In middle,
But the bottom
in
line
middle
is-
school, I had a girl, actually a couple of girls,
So hate
who
starts
would
very
come at
early,
me,
is what I'm saying.
and I'm a book nerd. I still am a nerd. Glasses, braces. In my own world, I had no idea what was going on. I was just like, I don't know what their problem is, why they have a problem with me, and I still don't. I still to this day don't know what it was that triggered
I tell you,
them.
we're fickle.
But they, tried to instigate things with me all the time. But my attitude was always,
yeah.
I'm over here and you're over there, and I'm just gonna keep on with my world. The first time I got jumped, I was 27 years old. I was on 6th Street in Austin, and that's where
Are
I got
you serious?
6 stitches from it. Absolutely, and the same thing
For
out of
what
nowhere.
reason? Just
6
'cause some-
chihuahuas is what I call them. 6 little chihuahuas.
It had
Jump
to be
me.
6 because we're less than you were going to
Absolutely.
take that down. I don't,
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
I said, in college, we were in the bathroom.
Did you know them? They were just strangers?
No, absolutely, no clue.
You don't have to
I
know-
was
you
just
don't have
out
to
there,
know
we're dancing,
women.
having a good time.
You have to watch women.
And
You know that.
I was even respectful and asked the chick, it's like, hey, do you mind if I dance over here with you? Oh yeah, girl, come on. I turn around, next thing I know, I'm flying through the air because she had pushed me off
Wow.
from my back. She pushed me from the back. And I was wearing my stripper heels, okay?
Oh, no.
Cute. They can walk around, I'm here,
That's
cute.
how it happens. That's how we are.
And I landed on my feet and turned around and we just started swinging, but there were 6 of them. Because even the bouncer was like, wow.
That's right.
But yeah,
And see,
that's
women
what
have-
happened.
Women have this thing about cutting your face. They don't want to cut you. They want to do something.
Oh,
never-
and see,
I
that's
never
when I
heard
felt
that
it.
till
When
I
I-
got to
when I
Houston. I'm
felt-
like, what the hell is that?
When I
girls
felt that
threatened to cut my
moisture on my
hair.
face,
That-
oh.
My hair was long. They threatened to cut
I
my
had
hair.
long hair. I've had that threatened, but never somebody cutting, slicing your face.
Make you
Wow.
ugly, leave
Who's
a
that?
scar.
I
Thank
know
you.
it means.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Julia, Debbie.
Debbie,
She
that's the one.
says,
Yeah.
she says children are our personal choice. Absolutely. Individual and personal choices. Annabelle, thank you for tuning in. She goes, I'm 33. I have a son and I've never been married. I decided years ago he was it for me. So the situation I run into is having people debate with me that if I meet the right one,
Oh, wow.
and or ever do get married, I'll change my mind about having more children, and that's infuriating. And so,
Yeah, that's
and
true. I
Debbie,
get
she
that.
goes, "That's horrible." Yes, it is horrible. It is horrible
It's the
how
stuff they
women
put on
treat
you.
each other.
Yeah, I don't know why we just. I don't know. I like everybody. There's an-
I'm like you.
and even if, I don't have to like you, but I know that I must respect you.
Right.
That's what I have in this book. That's what that's about. Is treating each other with respect. You don't have to like me.
Like me, and I told
Right.
somebody
Just
that.
just
one time.
respect me
You don't have
as
to
I
like
will
me,
do
just
you.
respect
I'll,
me.
that's it. You don't have to like me, and so consequently, women are just petty.
So that's how I got into the trouble with the 5 girls. I mean, thank God,
I've
because
never been
had those
jumped. I don't know
girls,
what I would do
these
with
were
that.
some big, brutal, burly girls. Had they jumped little old me, I probably would have been seriously hurt or had my teeth knocked out. Fortunately, I was able to avoid the situation and, get away and not get hurt, but it would have been very serious.
Have you guys seen some of these high school fights? And they video it.
That's all.
You know where I'm going.
People
right?
instigating
They
and trying.
instigate
It's
these girls. They lure them into the bathroom or something, and just start wailing on them.
Yeah.
So it's perpetuated at an early age
absolutely.
to hate each other. Useless about a boy, and now you got to worry about it being about a girl.
Oh
It's on another level.
yeah, because they get real aggressive.
And that's
There's a
probably-
certain Walmart.
that's probably-
There's a certain Walmart on the north side that I refuse to go to because the last time I walked in there, it was Stud Central, and
Are you kidding me?
young and aggressive. They were young and aggressive, and I walked in, I think, to grab some milk and some Noxzema.
You got the hell up out of there, right?
It's a pool cleaner for my buddy,
And what do you think? Did they harass you?
But the fact that
I
they're
was
probably looking
irate, and comments were made as I walked
and
through.
catcalls probably all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, and they were young, but very young
Sexual
and aggressive.
calls,
Absolutely,
Or are you
absolutely no,
No.
absolutely
sexual calls?
Yes,
Yes, catcalls.
in
Why don't you
Walmart.
just stop and get the information, Daydream? You could have at least done that.
Ew, that's not my
Right?
thing.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't do younger.
I know.
I can't take you seriously.
Now you don't know who to look out
So
for.
they made cat calls and wanted to get to know you better, I guess.
Well,
Well, not
it is
really,
all
they
over
just-
the media that, basically everybody
There were
is-
some very mainish females.
Yeah.
Very.
And I call them lipstick lesbians because they're beautiful women. When I was coming
they
up,
were straight
when
mainish.
I was coming up, women that were gay were quiet. You didn't know who they were, but you could tell who they were because they wore men's slacks. They had their hair processed. This is the one I remember when I was coming up.
Short hair.
Short hair processed, and carried a wallet in the back pocket like a man. But I'm just saying. So now they don't have to have that look. I call them lipstick lesbians because they're beautiful women now, and all of them all upon each other, and they perpetuate even that now very early on TV shows and all. So
Well, you know what? That does get interesting because I did go to a birthday party of a person who, he was a man, he happened to be gay. And so he had a mixed crowd. Some people were gay, some people were straight. Well, I walked into the area where their food was and I saw, just different sets of people. And I saw these women and I just said, oh, hello. And I kind of greeted everybody who's in there. Well, one of those chicks kind of rolled her eyes at me later. Turned out, I guess they were a couple, but I greeted everybody.
doesn't
So
matter.
even
Right.
if she were a different
Doesn't
person, something like that could have escalated. There could have been a big argument or a fight. And I'm
Right.
like, I wanted the chicken wings, really. I just said,
I
wanted to try the chicken wings. Trust me, I am not looking at you two. But
Right.
one of them kind of got.
Yes, Debbie, you're absolutely correct. Debbie says jealousy is the problem in the world today. Absolutely, but
That is
why?
jealousy.
It says here,
It's an evil spirit.
all women have a general sense of jealousy for one another, but unfortunately, humans are habits of comparison. So that's kind of innately built within us, and we are never satisfied with what we have. Women in particular find themselves always wanting to look better,
Right.
be thinner, and etc. So we get jealous of the women next to us who seem to be having better legs, better hair, better smaller waist, or whatever else. There's always something we can find to be jealous about in another woman. Is
Right.
what this is.
So at the end of the day, you're never going to be at peace.
Well, there's always someone. This is how I live my life. There's always some that's going to be better than me,
of
and there's
course.
going to be some that's going to be less than me. So
Right.
you can't. You got to find your space, your niche. Again, you can't. Some people are just out of the range because they've had certain life choices and certain life breaks
Right.
Opportunities.
and
And
opportunities.
then looks
so
are
you
relative.
can't get mad at them for
You
that.
can't go by looks because they're relative. Because just because you may say, oh, gee, she's drop dead gorgeous. Everybody doesn't think that person's drop dead gorgeous.
Everybody's
Beauty's
not
in the eye of the
attracted to
beholder.
everybody, but-
So
See,
looks are relative.
We
but
look at each other and we impose or transpose our beauty standards to another woman. So
I
we-
learned to
you
stop
understand what I'm
doing
saying?
that.
So it's
I'm-
kind
yeah.
of like I can't explain what I'm trying to say. I don't know if you get
Right.
it.
No, I do get it. Basically, when we're feeling jealous and insecure, it's a wasted emotion. Everybody has certain looks based on their lineage. Certain features you find attractive, certain features other people don't find attractive. Just because you happen to say, well, this woman's pretty and I'm sad because I'm not. Well, I mean, I think she
Well,
looks
if you say
okay,
you're not,
but
if you say you're not attractive, then
if
you're
you
not.
say you're not, but you said it.
Again,
Right.
whatever
Are
you,
people walking up to you and
whatever
telling you how ugly you are?
whatever
No.
you feed yourself. This is about how you deal with your own space and in your own head.
Right.
So that's why you have to have your little. You have to be fully intact and confident, self-esteem, and all of this when you go out there. There's gonna be stuff on both sides.
Right.
Some lesser than you, some
And that
better
starts
than you.
at a very young
that starts
age.
at a
But
very
then
young
filling
age.
those
That.
voids,
Right.
those other people need to be there in the society, in the community, to fill certain voids that you cannot fill.
That's
So,
true. That's
that
specific
gorgeous,
people's
that
lives.
person over there that who I think is gorgeous or has the best shape, she needs to be in the world because she's got something to do, whether she has the beautiful shape or not. She's got something to
She has
do.
a purpose.
She has a purpose.
Everybody's
We all
got
have
one.
purpose.
He's got a
What it
purpose.
is.
Right.
He's got a purpose. But it's not for me to be jealous and waste emotion on
Well, listen,
hating
it
them.
is a human.
They
it
need
is-
to be
right.
there.
It is human habit
But I think when
to
you
deal
get to the
with
place,
comparison.
right?
So we're never happy with what we have. It's like all of us before we go to break. You know, Daydream has naturally wavy hair.
Right.
She may want to blow dry it straight because wavy doesn't work for her. Here I am with maybe have wavy hair and I want straight hair. So it's back and forth. We're never satisfied with what we have. So I think we're constantly competing and comparing ourselves to the next woman. Do we have to go to break?
We got to go to
I
break.
guess, guys, we'll be right
We'll
back
be
on that
right
tip.
back.
All right.
You're listening to the Bridge of Light Radio Network, where conversations lead to real change.
I gotta do yep, I have to do it too.
I want to get a
From the manners maintenance.
Trying to get real over here, okay?
Yeah, girl, I like that looks like, yeah. I'm jealous OG now, I wanna be her.
What, these curls?
You look so good. How do you look so good?
It looks cute. Looks fun.
Mm, I like that wild
Well, it's changed since last week because
Yeah. And now
the
it's
AC went out in the car.
oh
No better way to
Man.
no better way to have hair blow up than for 107-degree index and your AC
Right.
goes out.
Oh, you know,
That'll
there's
blow
a
your
storm forming in the Gulf.
Another one I thought we were out of the
They
water.
said, well, there was a sign on
we're
the
still
freeway
got to
that
worry
said
about
it.
the rain.
This one
It's
is
moved
forming.
more to the east, but that's passing.
Right.
Like she said, there's another one that we have to be worried about.
30 seconds.
Yeah, we probably want to mention
What?
start getting water or get, whatever, because they said it's forming.
Well,
and
I did.
it's
we
pushing
did a
toward
show
Houston.
on prepping. This is why
Mhm.
that was done.
You ready to come back?
You know, we try to give you, and you can bring that up what we did. Welcome back. You listen to the All About You show. We're having a conversation about women hating on women, and we actually see where it starts quite early. You know, even it could start as early as with little young girls, 2 and 3 years old. You know, you're making another one. You know,
Well, for them,
jealous
when-
of
as
competing.
in
But go ahead,
infancy-
so Susie, you sing over here. Whatever, Johnny, you
Yeah.
go sit down, or you know.
Yeah. Oh, look, you go show them what you can
Right,
do.
right.
You
so,
can, we put our children on
display, yeah.
all the time. You know, oh, look how cute. You know, this big old bow, or look how fluffy, like this huge petticoat. You know, big dresses, big bows was always the thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that it starts young, that we have to be cute, we have to be pretty, we have to be
Well,
the.
we're
Be able to
raised for
dance
that.
or be able to
Yeah.
sing or
Mhm.
be able to put ourselves on display. And I think that, in my opinion, could be planting the seeds of insecurity.
That's what I'm
in
saying.
that
You start
person.
early. You started
You started
early.
early.
You know, also it says lack of approval. Sometimes we want other women to approve of us when they don't. Whether it's a boss or an apathetic coworker, we hate them because they don't care about us. See, again, I think that's true. If you don't like us, a woman's creed. If you don't like me, I don't like you either.
Well, maybe-
that's the average woman's creed.
Yeah,
You know that's how we
maybe
are.
that was the problem, because like I said, I've always been very in my own world, in my own tunnel vision. I'm focused on this, not paying attention to everything else that's going on. I didn't realize that I wasn't liked. You know, I'm like, I don't know these
Well, you
people.
know, it's the same that happened
But
to me in
but
college. You
my
just
but my
don't
dude
know.
told me, he's like, well, you have a very F them attitude. You know, if you like me, okay, and if you don't, okay. That's not a problem, and that's a problem for people because I don't react to that.
Well,
you
you
know,
know, me, I-
and
yeah,
and
I
and
get
the
that.
other thing is that I just don't care. In other
And
words, like I
that's
just
where
don't
I
give
am
an
now.
F, you know,
Right,
and
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. There's I pick and choose where I want to put my energy on. And people don't like that. Oh, you feel like I'm not worth your time. Well, you're not. I don't even know you.
Yeah, and why-
You know,
why you coming at
if I
me,
mess
okay?
with you, we're cool, great, wonderful. And if I don't, let's just go on and move on. And people can't handle that.
Like I said,
Especially now in this day and
today's world,
age,
yeah,
you know,
it's
where
different.
everyone's trying to be insta famous. You know, they need all that attention.
everybody needs attention. Everybody's narcissistic, and so again, women now are showing insecurity within themselves. A huge reason why women hate other women because they are insecure with themselves. Any woman who feels secure and confident with who they are should have no reason to hate anyone else. That's how I feel about myself. I'm happy.
Well,
for
you really don't have time or the space for it.
Well,
When you're building your brand and focusing on your thing and focusing how to leave legacies for the community, real true legacies, there's no room left to be jealous and hate on someone else. I want to focus on leaving a legacy, so I don't have time to hate you
well, what I did do, and I know this about
or
myself.
hate on you.
If I ran into, like I said, I've always empowered and edified women and people around me and that sort of thing. So when I do that, what I would do is see some of the qualities that other women had that I would like to have acquired as I was a teenager, and I grew into extrapolating from those friendships. Instead of hating on it, they're bringing something to you.
You're
Let me
celebrating.
learn bringing you something. Yeah. So every woman that's been in my life has always either they've been overachievers. I've learned something from them that I didn't know. So it helps me,
And
to
how can you
define
hurt somebody
oneself
you
is
learn?
to refine oneself. So you just get more refined, and then you leave all that other stuff alone because you separate yourself from the haters.
Right. Debbie commented again. She goes, I just congratulated a woman I didn't know because her man bought her a home, and both of them have brand new cars. Some women can't compliment anyone else.
That's my point. We can't. I don't know what it is about us, but those of us that are confident, it's okay to do it. And
You're right. I went to the gym and I saw this young lady. Man, this girl was cut, and she was helping to train someone else. So she happened to turn around as I was walking over, and I was asking, were they going to use the equipment? Because if they were, I was, going to go somewhere else. And so I said, "You're gonna use the equipment." Turn around, she smiled, and then I just gestured like, "Girl, you gotta go out." And she just laughed and laughed. But she loved it. She felt like
that.
And I said, "Girl, you gotta go out."
Because she worked hard for that.
She did. She
You know,
earned
she-
that. She was
absolutely.
popping
and see
everywhere.
what you men need to understand.
But I love doing that.
While we love you men, women don't do things for men. They do it for other women.
Right.
You do know this, right?
Yeah.
Real
you
women.
need to know
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Real women. Yeah.
Real women.
Yeah.
We're doing it for
And
each
she
other.
smiled and she you could tell she was just grinning the entire time. But the fact that she was helping somebody else, like, okay, now
Paying
she's
it
helping
forward. She's
this
paying it
person to help
Achieve
reach their
what they
goals,
need to do.
and we're all women doing the same thing.
And
in
that's
the
what you
gym.
do.
They're
You
doing it
learn
their
from
way.
it.
I'm over here
You learn
exercising
from
doing
another
it
woman.
mine.
You don't hate on it.
Right.
But we just have that thing.
But that was the way to.
But is that
encourage people.
self-hatred, you think?
What?
Part of it, just hating on other women, is that while it's insecurity,
Yeah,
Again,
while it's
remember my
jealousy,
situation I
So it's
explained?
gotta be.
I was feeling insecure about myself, but once I got past
Not
that, I'm
insecure,
like,
I'm talking hatred. People have self-hate. People
but
have a
person
self-loathing.
at a higher level that way hates. I never allowed myself to get to that level where I'm just sitting around hating people. I prefer to like people.
don't
I
think so as
prefer
well.
to get to know you, because when I get to know you, I know some kind of way you're going to be a blessing to me. You're going to tell me something, you're going to share something with me. And
That
now,
you can
how
learn
can I
from.
hate you?
You can
I
learn
learned
from.
something from you.
That's what I said, but I don't
Or
think
you
women-
gave me something, just something.
The
Now I
younger
don't hate you.
women, these younger women are way different than
Because
the
they're
older
not
set.
properly
They have
taught.
they have no loyalty.
Like I said,
No
I'd
foundation,
rather
no-
love you. I'd rather love you than hate you.
Absolutely.
It's easier for me to do that.
Well, if I can't help you, I'm definitely not gonna hurt you, so I'll leave you alone.
Yeah, I'll just leave you
And
alone.
I've learned over the years to just disengage.
Right.
You know,
And just leave it at that.
and so women, we're bright, we're articulate, we're educated. We could do a lot if we kind of pull together.
And many
And
of us
stop
do.
fighting.
Many of us do,
Right.
but there's
And we
always
still do.
going to
There's
be
always a
there's always
yeah.
going to be those who haven't gotten to the place where we are. They haven't grown
gotta
and
grow
gotten
there.
beyond that.
But
You- sometimes you have to grow there. But you started earlier.
I
Me,
was
it took a little bit longer. It just took a little longer, but thank God I got there, because like I said, I'm going to high school, I'm smiling, saying hello to people. Boy, was I goofy. And they called me the B word. I'm like, I just said hello. I didn't understand this hatred. I went to a private school, lived in a community, 2-parent home,
Yeah.
and I'm saying hi in school, and I say, hi, such and such, and the girl looked at me and rolled her eyes.
Because you were cute and you had confidence.
So what? Okay, make that your friend. If somebody has something, can bring something
I
to
was
the
making
table.
up, but man, they
See,
were
that's
getting
always been
together,
my
and I'm
thing.
getting these horrible messages. Oh, they're gonna get you. And I'm like,
You know,
what?
but Yeah.
What did I do?
I don't know what it is about us, but we have this
See, I just
innate thing
didn't
about
get
each other.
the way this conversation came about was because I was working an event, and I bartend, so I make my money on tips. And it was a hard event. My people were hard when it comes to tips, okay? But
Really?
I'm serving, beer. I'm
I
serving
give a
drink.
tipping schedule in this book.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Book out,
Please,
you get a lot
please
of
learn,
information,
okay?
all right?
And I noticed that every dude that was there with the female, almost every single female gave the death stare.
Oh yeah, they gotta give you.
It was $3 change, $2 change, whatever, and he's getting ready to leave it, and she gives him a look or gives a little nudge,
You better not.
and
do
he,
that.
okay, well then let me just leave $1. Then came the death stare, like, don't you even?
you
And I'm
put
like,
that-
are you serious?
Yes,
Why?
We're that. That's who we are.
I'm wearing a uniform. I'm buttoned up to my neck. I wasn't showing anything. Nothing was falling out.
Just hate it.
I wasn't. It was hello. How are you doing? I addressed the females. When you have a male and a female, you always address the
You
female.
gotta listen. I sell homes. I build custom homes actually. I sell the wife. I let her sell her husband.
Absolutely.
Because see, I have seen deals lost because women have gone and chosen the wrong person to appeal to, and they go to these women's husbands.
No.
You don't see. You gotta learn. Women have rules. They're unwritten, of course. It's a code, but you
It's
gotta
about
know the code.
respect,
You
ladies.
gotta know the code. It's respect. That's all it is.
Absolutely. But I just couldn't understand. I was like, why do we sit there and hate on each other so much? And for what? It was nothing. $1. It's a tip.
Didn't want
It's
you
my
to have
job.
it. Didn't want you to have
You came to me. I didn't come, hey, do y'all want a drink? Do you want? No, you physically came to my spot.
Looking for a drink.
You
okay?
looked for me.
Yeah. You came to my world. I didn't. Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of opportunities to make major strides in the world if we could get it together. I think we're getting better. I think women-
Absolutely.
yeah.
The moral of the
the
story
younger women
is,
scare me.
yeah,
Give them the
we
world.
need to start teaching our ladies to be ladies, okay? And our job is to be the best us as possible without bringing somebody else down. My job is to be the best me.
That's it.
That's it. That's the only thing that I need to be concerned about, because that is going to get reflected off onto my niece, onto whatever other young female there is out there who needs a role model. They're going to see that, and that is my job, is just to be the best me.
That's it.
So,
I think we just have.
yeah.
Well, I just got to give a tip from the Manners Maven. And the Manners Maven says tipping is absolutely appropriate. So those people that behave that way, they need to get a book. They need to get this book and learn that tipping is appropriate. So the Manners Maven commits an entire chapter to tipping. Proper tipping is a part of the etiquette guidelines. And she even gives a schedule about how to tip when you're, if it's a couple, if it's a group of people, what the percentages are from 15 to 25% or 15 to 20%. She gives a breakdown at restaurants and who should get the amount of the tip.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really sophisticated. So if I were you, I would be sure to get Image on Amazon.com. At Amazon. On Amazon. Anyway, you could get you could see this beautiful hard copy.
Yes, absolutely. So for those like me, I'm so excited. The hard copy is available, people. You go to www.yourbizimage.com. That's BIZZ. Image.com. You can also go Amazon.com. All the information is on there. Go to our website, www.allaboutyoushow.info. That's all about you, the letter U, show.info. Thank you so much for everyone for following along on our Facebook page, our Twitter, at All About You Show. Our Facebook page is OMG and Friends.
Today's show was brought to you by Image. I make a great employee, executive, entrepreneur, etiquette training seminars where life skills meet social graces. For more information, please visit www.yourbizimage.com. That's www.yourbizimage.com for more information.
Now, real quick, guys, before we have to leave and see you on the radio next week, isn't there a storm brewing somewhere? Is there
Yes,
something?
there are
Absolutely.
signs everywhere. They see a storm forming in the Gulf. So now they're telling people to just go ahead and put gas in their tank.
Now we did a show
Yeah, preppers doing
We did a
prepping.
show on prepping.
So we'll have
This
to
is
bring
what-
that back.
We have
It's
to bring
hurricane
that back,
season.
but that's what this is for. Prepping is about having. See, I have my water, I have my
Right.
foods, I have all of my stuff.
She has an
I don't have to-
underground
Right.
bunker.
But keep in mind, people, we're still
Right.
recovering from Harvey. Harvey was what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years ago this summer. We're still trying to recover from that. So not only is there a storm that's beginning to develop, but there's another system behind that one. So everyone just needs to be very conscientious. Don't ignore those weather alerts. Don't ignore what you're seeing on the news. Make the effort. Don't get stuck.
Absolutely. Until next week, I guess we'll see you on the radio.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations today.
Yeah.